Sipondlovu, Sipon Sport, your favorite Ank on the net, the black Italian himself, Piacere. It is nice meeting you again. Today we are doing 40 languages, 40 cultures in 40 days. Today is day 5. We are looking at the Urdu people, the Urdu or Urdu origin, or the people of Urdu. So we'll look about a bunch of things as far as the Urdu people are concerned. Where they come from, what is their culture, where are they based, how did they come about, all those type of things. So we will actually have some practical, nice time looking at the people of Urdu. Welcome, Lily. Welcome, Lily. You are right on time. Today is day 5. We are looking at the people of Urdu on South Asia. This is day 5. 40 cultures, 40 languages in 40 days. So briefly, Urdu or Urdu people originated in North India around Delhi in the 12th century as a blend of local dialect like Kariboli and Persians, Arabic and Turkish influences from Central Asian and Muslim conquerors, forming the basis of what was called the Hindavi or Hindustani, a common tongue for the region. It became a distinct literary language under the Mughal emperor, known for its poetic tradition and rich vocabulary, eventually becoming the national language of Pakistani and the official language in India, sharing its core grammar with Hindi, but different in script Perso-Arabic vocabulary. Lily is saying, thanks for the stream. Thank you very much, Lily. We always enjoy your company, and I think you add a lot of input in our stream. So right now I have a lot of screens in my system here. So I am trying actually to minimize that. I don't know what really happening. Someone is sabotaging me, but nonetheless, they will not win. We are the conquerors. We are more than the conquerors. I hope you had a good day, Lily. How much oil does Nigerians have? How much oil does Nigerians have? That's a good question. That's basically a good question. But I'm thinking if it's crude oil or what type of oil you're talking about. Is it crude oil or how much oil you're talking about? Crude oil. Oh, that's a beautiful question. That's a beautiful question. Approximately 38 billion barrels. Approximately 38 billion barrels. Nigeria has proven oil reserve of approximately 38 billion barrels, ranking as the second largest in Africa and the 10th largest in the world. Nigeria is also estimated to hold at least 210 TSCF of proven natural gas reserves, making it the 8th largest gas reserve holder in the world and the largest in Africa. So that's about it. Thank you for the question, Lily. Actually, it was a beautiful question. Actually, I didn't know that Nigeria has so much oil. I didn't really know. So thank you for the question. Much appreciated question, Lily. So back to today's story. We are looking at the Urdu people or Urdu people. I don't know how to read this. It's Urdu or Urdu, URDU, people, origins, culture, and everything. So as I've said that, these were the dialects, combined dialects or a blend dialects of Persians, Arabic, Turkish influence from Central Asia, Muslim conquerors, forming a basis of what is called Hindavi or Hindustan, a common tongue for the region. It became a distinct literary language under the Mughal Empire, known for its poetic tradition and rich vocabulary, eventually becoming the known or the national language of Pakistan and an official language in India, sharing a core grammar with Hindi, but different in script and Perso-Arabic vocabulary. So briefly, that's what we can say about the Urdu language. Now, the early roots, it goes back to the 10th or 12th century, evolved from a local Upper Brahmsha dialect in the Delhi region, that is in India, influenced by the earlier Muslim conquest. So we've read about the Arabics or the Arabs, that their conquest began as early as the 7th to the 8th century. So they had a great influence in actually forming this new language, or called Urdu. So the speech then called Hindavi was used by poets like Amir Khusrau and began incorporating significant Persian and Arabic vocabulary, developing into a mixed language known as the Zaban-e-Delhi, language of Delhi, or Recta. Now, in the 18th, 17th, and 18th century, grew under the Mughal Empire as a court language and a lingua franca, with its name Urdu, meaning camp or royal camp, becoming the common, especially in Shah Jahan-made Delhi capital. Developed distinct literary forms, with Urdu and Hindi diverging primarily in script, Perso-Arabic for Urdu, Devanagari for Hindi, and vocabulary emphasis Persian Arabic for Urdu, and Sanskrit for Hindi. So relationship between Hindi and Urdu are mutually intelligible and share the same grammatical base, stemming from the same Hindustani continuum. They consider the sister languages diverging mainly due to cultural and religious affiliation and script choices. So welcome everybody, this is Never Commentaries. Day 5 of 40 languages, 40 cultures in 40 days. Today we are dealing with Urdu from South Asia. So now, deep to this Urdu language, let's see what we find there. Okay, I didn't see all these comments. Let me check this comment quickly. Okay, we checked Lily. Gamda, what's good? That's good, Gamda. Twinkly Singh, hi, you are from which country, buddy? I'm from South Africa, bro. I'm from South Africa. Twinkly Singh, do you know when the shell caused oil to flood and cover the rivers and wildlife was destroyed? No, I don't know about that, Lily. I don't know about that. I think it's one of the things that we actually need to look at. But I think it's very, very interesting and we need to look at it. I came and you live just raised. Thank you. I'm from Hindi language. Oh, that's good. That means you are familiar with Urdu or Urdu language. That's what we're dealing with right now. And I'm happy to see that it actually has India or Indian influence, especially Hindi, to it. This is what actually I'm getting from this. When you're gonna do Malaysia, bro? I'm going to tomorrow I'm doing the islands. So we begin with the islands from the Asia, along the Indian Ocean. Then on Friday, the island on the Antarctica, somewhere there. Then we go back to Europe on Saturday. But thank you for checking up. We're either going to do Malaysia or Indonesia, somewhere there, between Malaysia or Indonesia. I don't know how far they are related, but what I want, who asked this question? Gamda, what I want is a language. If you can give me a language from those regions, then I will actually go there with a language. I'm looking for a language, then the language will actually break the ice for everything that you actually I'm looking for. Now back to our today's topic. Urdu. Urdu is an Indo-Aryan language spoken primarily in South Asia. It is the national language and the lingua franca of Pakistan. It is also an official and 8th scheduled language in India. The status cultural heritage of which is recognized by the Constitution of India. It also has an official status in several India states. Indonesia is fine. Okay, thank you. I'll do Indonesia then. Then maybe on the second round, then I will look at. You said Indonesia is fine, not Malaysia. Okay, fine. We'll do Indonesia then. Thank you, Gamda. Thank you very much. And welcome back, by the way. It's been a minute since I've seen you, so it's always a pleasure to have you here, bro. Thank you. So Urdu or Urdu shared a common predominantly Sanskrit and Prakrit derived vocabulary-based phonology, syntax, and grammar, making the mutual intelligible during the colloquial communications. The common base of the two languages is sometimes referred to as the Hindu Urdu or Hindustani language, and Urdu has been described as a Persianized standard register of the Hindustani language. While formal Urdu draws literary, political, and technical vocabulary from the Persian, formal Hindi draws from these aspects from Sanskrit. Consequently, these two languages mutually intelligibility effectively decreases as the level of formality increases. Now, Urdu originated geographically in the upper Ganga Yamuna Doab in around Delhi region where Kariboli was spoken. Urdu shared a grammatical foundation with Kariboli, but was written in a revised Perso-Arabic script and included a vocabulary borrowed from the Persian and the Arabic, which retained its original grammatical structure in those languages. In 1837, Urdu became an official language of the British East India Company, replacing the Persian across northern India during the company rule. Persian had until this point served as the court language in various Indo-Islamic empires. Now, when we speak about the British, the East India Company, there's a lot that we can speak about it. I think we would actually need to actually do a video specifically dedicated to the British East India Company, because there's a lot of things that happened surrounding that company during the 1800s, and that actually go all the way from Europe to South Africa. So we have a lot to share in terms of history as far as the British East India Company is concerned. Basically, we have the same language with Indonesian anyway. Okay, thank you. What language do you use? Do you use Indonesian or there's other language? Because I'm looking for something that is originally from that region where there's a culture and a people who are natives of that region. So that's why I was asking for a specific language. But if you say Indonesia is fine, then we'd use Indonesia. So the East India Company, or EIC, was the English and later British joint stock company that was founded in 1600 and dissolved in 1874. It was formed to trade in India Ocean region, initially with the East Indies and later with the East Asia. The company gained control. What's happening? The company gained control of large parts of the Indian subcontinent and Hong Kong. As it peaked, the company was the largest corporation in the world by various measures and had its own armed forces in the form of a company, 3 presidency armies totaling to 260,000 soldiers, twice the size of the British Army at certain times. Now, this actually explains the damage that the British East India Company did. Originally chartered as the governor and the Company of Merchants of London trading into the East Indies, the company rose to account for half of the world's trading during the mid-1700s to early 1800s, particularly in basic commodities including cotton, silk, indigo dye, sugar, salt, spices, saltpetre, tea, gemstones, and later opium. The company also initiated the beginnings of the British Raj in the Indian subcontinent. Now, the British Raj was the rule of the British Crown of the Indian subcontinent, lasting from 1858 to 1947. It is also called the Crown Rule in India or Direct Rule in India. The region under British colony was commonly called India in the contemporaneous usage, included areas directly. Okay. The company eventually came to rule large areas of the Indian subcontinent, exercising military power and assuming an administrative function. Company ruled areas in the region, gradually expanding after the Battle of the Plassey in 1757. And by 1858, most modern India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh was either ruled by the company or princely states close tied to the company by treaties. Following the Sepoy rebellion in 1857, the Government of India Act 1858 led to the British Crown assuming a direct control of the present-day Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, and Myanmar in the form of a new British Indian Empire. So much for a company, by the way. The company subsequently experienced recurring problems with its finances despite frequent government intervention. The company was dissolved in 1874 under the terms of the East India Stock Dividend Redemption Act. What was that? The East India Stock Dividend Redemption Act of 1873 was an act of the Parliament of the United Kingdom passed in 1873 that formally dissolved the British East India Company. They had enough of the world. Maybe that's why. Now, to continue, it was dissolved under the East India Stock Dividend Act, enacted 1 year earlier. What are you doing here? Enacted 1 year earlier as the government of the India Act had been rendered it vestigial, powerless, and obsolete. The official government machinery of the British Empire had assumed its governmental functions and absorbed its armies. Okay, we went about the British East India Company, but we were just passing by because it appears as I'm looking at the URDU language. Now, URDU became the official language of the British East India Company, replacing Persian across North India during the company rule. Persian had until this point served as the court language of various Indo-Islamic emperors. Now, what are Indo-Islamic emperors? Indo-Islamic emperors, that is the Muslim period of the Indian subcontinent of Indo-Muslim period, is conventionally said to have at least 640 started in 640 with the conquest of the Makran by the Rushidan Caliphate and was continued in 712 to 714 after the conquest of the Sindh and the Multan by the Umayyad Caliphate under the military. According to 2022 estimate, the ethnologue of the CIA's the World Effect Book, URDU is the 10th most widely spoken language in the world. That's impressive. How come I only heard about this language through one of the chat? I forgot his name. That was for the first time I hear about this language, but they say it's the 10th most widely spoken language in the world, with 230 million total speakers, including those who speak it as a second language. Now that's impressive. That's very impressive. But I assume that in the Middle East, including the South Asia, East Europe, and North Africa, probably, that's where the language is mostly being spoken. I'm assuming it's not what they say here. Now, the etymology Urdu. The name Urdu was first used by the poet Ghulam Hamadani Mushafi around 1780 for the language. Even though he himself also used Hindavi, a term in his poet to define the language, Urdu means army in the Turkish language or Turkish languages. In the late 1800s, it was known as Zeban Urdu Muwala, means language of the exalted camp. It was previously known by the several terms such as Hindi, Hindustani, and Recta. Now we're looking at the origins. The Urdu is the part of the Hindu-Urdu linguistic continuum, which is commonly referred as Hindustan in contemporary usage. Some linguists have suggested that the earliest forms of Urdu evolved from the medieval 6th to the 13th century. Upper Brahmsa registered for the preceding of Shoreseni language, a Middle Indo-Aryan language that is also the ancestor of the modern Indo-Aryan languages. In the Delhi region of India, the native language was Kariboli, whose earliest form is known as Old Hindi or Hindavi. It belongs to the Western Hindi group of the Central Indo-Aryan languages. The contacts of the Hindu and Muslim cultures during the period of the Muslim conquest in the Indian subcontinent, 12th to 16th century, led to the development of the Hindustani as a product of a composite Ganja, Jamuni, Tehzeeb. Can I ask them something? Yes, you can, Hamda. Now, when we speak about the Muslim conquest, again, Muslim conquest on the Indian subcontinent mainly took place in the 13th to the 18th century, establishing the Indo-Muslim period earlier. A Muslim conquest on the Indian subcontinent, including the invasion, which started in the northwestern India subcontinent, especially. I'm waiting for your question, bro. Especially Umayyadan campaigns in India during the 8th century. Mahmud of Ghazni, a sultan of Ghaznavid Empire, invaded the vast part of the Punjab and the Gujarat during the 11th century after the capture of the Lahore and the end of the Ghaznavids, and the Ghurid and ruler Muhammad of Ghor laid the foundation of the Muslim rules in India in 1192. In 1202, Muhammad Bakhtiyar Khalji led the Muslim conquest of Bengal, making the easternmost expansion of Islam at the time. Why India have a different skin color? Why Indians have a different skin color? They have a different skin color than who? Who do you compare them to? Some say India in north is Arya people. I think you mean Aryan people. Kamda, you are posing serious questions here. Now, if you are saying Indians are Aryan people, the term Aryan originates from the ancient Indo-Iranian, self-designated meaning noble, referring to the people who migrated from the Euro-Asian steppes into India and Iran, establishing a Vedic culture of the Indo-Aryan languages. However, in the 19th century, European scholars incorrectly twisted it into a racial concept, wrongly associating it with the Nordic people, a dangerous idea later distorted by Nazis for racist ideologies, which is historically and scientifically false, as Aryan is a linguistic or cultural, not biological term. I hope you hear this, Aryan, at Gamda, I mean. It is said that Aryan is a linguistic, not a biological term. It is a linguistic term. So if we can say as it, oh, you hear what I read here. So Aryan comes from a Sanskrit Arya, meaning noble, honorable, used by the ancient Indo-Iranians to distinguish themselves. So, but the fact that in the 19th century, European scholars incorrectly twisted it into a racial concept, wrongly associated it with the Nordic people, a dangerous idea later distorted by Nazis for racist ideology. But the term itself, Aryan or Aryan, there's no problem with that because it means noble. It's like the British when they say, my lord, my lord. Same concept, but somehow it was twisted by the Nazis for racial ideology. So in that sense, maybe we might not want to use it. But having said that, though, the Indo-Aryans in India, these migrants established a Vedic culture, brought Indo-Aryan languages like Sanskrit and formed early communities in the northern India, influencing Hinduism and the caste system. That's some of the things that we are finding as far as the Aryan is concerned. You might be correct about that statement that you've written over there, but the fact that somehow in the 19th century it was twisted by the scholars and the Nazis for racial ideologies, you did not mean that, but that happened as part of history. Maybe that's how it sounds. Not so good at some places, maybe. I like the t-shirt. Fortune, what's good? What's good, Fortune? I hope you are a Pagania, that's why you love the t-shirt. So back to our today's cause. Now, in cities such as Delhi, the ancient language of Hindi began to acquire many Persians, loan words, and continued to be called Hindu later called Hindustani. An early literary tradition of Hindavi was founded by Amir Khusrau in the late 13th century, who has been called the father of Urdu or Urdu literature after the conquest of the Deccan. Now, and the subsequent immigration of a noble Muslim or an Aryan Muslim, as you have put it, families into the south, a form of a language flourished in the medieval India as a vehicle of poetry, especially by the Bamanids, and is known as the Dakhini, which contains loan words of Telugu and Marathi. Now, the conquest of Deccan. What is a conquest of Deccan? The Deccan Plateau or Peninsula Plateau is a plateau that extends over an area of 422,000 kilometers. That could be 163,000 square miles on the southern part of Indian subcontinent. The plateau forms a bulk of a Deccan Peninsula and stretches from Satpura or Satpura and Vindhya ranges. It's so huge. But actually, I wanted to see what was Deccan, what a Deccan is. So, Amir Khusrau in the 13th century is the one who actually was called the father of Urdu or literature because of the conquest of the Deccan. And in the subsequent immigration to noble Muslim, Aryan Muslim, if I may put it that way, or Aryan Muslim families into south, a form of a language flourished in the medieval India as a vehicle of poetry, especially under the Bamanids, and is known as the Dakhini, which contains loanwords from Telugu and Marathi. From the 13th century, I think you should do Q&A content about history, bro. That would be awesome. Gamda, that would be awesome. And I think about it and actually schedule a time for exactly that, because I think it's a dope idea. Thank you for that, bro. Thank you for that. Cardiff City FC fan, what's good, bro? Oh, you say you're sick. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Why are you sick? Because the last weekend, I think you won with 3 goals to 2. Now, what's wrong with you? Now, from the 13th century, in the end of the 18th century, the language known as Urdu was called Hindi, Hindwani, Hindustani, Dehlavi or Dehlawi, Lahori, Lashkari. The Delhi Sultanate established Persian as its official language in India, a policy continued by the Mughal Emperor, which extended over the most northern and South Asia from the 16th and 18th century and cemented the Persian influence on Hindustan. While we are on the point of Q&A of history, Gamda, I think when I'm doing these 40 languages, 40 cultures in 40 days, I think that's a perfect time to actually have these Q&As. And if you can scroll up, you could see that Lily has actually posed a question: how much oil does Nigeria have? That's the question she posed. Then we've answered that. And also you actually posed out a question about the Aryan linked to the Indians, and we looked at that quickly. I think that's a top idea, but as much as we are doing this 40 languages, 40 cultures in 40 days, I think that would be a perfect time to actually pose in those questions. I'll pause whatever I'm doing and address the questions that are appearing on the screen. How is that? I think that's fair, bro. Yeah, we won, but I've just got a bad headache and sore throat. Plus, I've threw up 8 times yesterday. Hey, that's sad, bro. That's not good. Have you went to see the doctor, the clinic, or hospital? I think you need help, bro. At Max, at Max, who is better, Bucks or Downs? Okay, after the game that Downs played on Monday, I think that was the best football I've seen Sundowns played since Coach Rulani. The last time I saw them play that beautiful football, it was the time of Coach Rulani. So on Monday, I think I wanted to actually watch that game the entire night, the way Sundowns was playing beautiful football. But yeah, it depends on the day who plays the better football. It depends on the day and on the occasion. But at any given time, you know Sundowns is going to entertain you. Yeah, that's what I'd say. Sundowns is going to entertain you, bro. If you want to be entertained, Sundowns is going to entertain you. And if you want aggression, then Pirates is going to aggress you badly. Now I've just been in bed. If it gets worse, I will. Bro, don't take it lightly. Don't take it lightly. I wish you'd wake up in the morning, actually get your mom or your dad to actually take you to hospital or to see the doctor or to the nearest clinic, bro. Don't take it lightly. Or they could go to a nearest pharmacy and buy you something. Because I know how it is to not feel well. And I wish you actually to be well as soon as possible. Speedy recovery. That's all I can say. And I'm sorry to hear that, bro. I'm sorry to hear that. But please get something from a pharmacy or go see the doc or clinic, whatever is convenient for you, bro. Please. Yeah, thank you. Thanks to you for joining us, even though you are not feeling well. Thank you. So Gamda said, okay, fair enough. Thank you. We've passed that point, Gamda. I think you have actually a dope concept. So as much as we are doing this 40 languages, 40 cultures in 40 days, this is day 5, by the way. Questions concerning history should be posed, and I will pause whatever I'm doing and address that, and then we will speak about it. You should check about Sriwijaya Kingdom. While I'm at this, let me check it out quickly. Sriwijaya Empire. Okay, I'll quickly check an overview of that. Oh, Gamda. No, bro, I can't just do an overview of this. This needed an entire video of its own. This needs an entire video of its own. Because today we are doing South Asia with the URDU. Tomorrow I'm supposed to be doing the islands on the eastern part of Asia. Now this is from the south. This has to do with the Indonesian, and I assume also the Malaysian. That's what we're doing tomorrow, bro, because it's very, very interesting. It's very, very interesting. I think that's what I was looking for when I asked you if there's any language in Malaysia or Indonesia. What you just pointed out, that's it, bro. That's what we're doing tomorrow. It's very, very interesting. Quickly, Sriwijaya refers primarily to a powerful 7th to 13th century Indonesian maritime empire centered in Sumatra, known for trade and Buddhism, but also refers to the modern Indonesian football club, Sriwijaya FC, Sriwijaya University, and also Sriwijaya Airlines. The emperor controlled vital trade routes like the Strait of Malacca, influenced Southeast Asia, and left behind a significant archaeological site near Palembang. Bro, that's what we do tomorrow. I don't want to ruin it, but tomorrow this is what we are looking at. Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. Well, I know about a little bit about Indonesia. Can I help you? Please, bro. Okay, but because we are doing Indonesia, Malaysia, all that area tomorrow. Whatever you have regarding that area, bro, bring it on tomorrow. So we'll discuss everything, even if it takes us 5 hours. I don't mind. But this is very, very interesting. I can also see some archaeological sites. They are very, very interesting. The structures, how they build this empire, it's very, very interesting. So it's what actually I found in South America with the Inkasa Empire. Now I love, actually, when I start this is what I was looking for, basically. This is stuff I was looking for. But sadly enough, I've only found it in 2 places. That could be South America, and now I'm going to find it again in the islands of Southeast Asia. Thank you, Camden. Thank you very much. Majapahit Empire is more interesting. Okay. Let me tell you something, Kamda. There's something about Asia, or there's something about the East. Let me say there's something about the East. I read a lot of legends from the East. And there's something about them that is hidden within these legends that I'm reading. Now, when you are saying now, the Majapahit Empire is more interesting. How about the Qing and the Qing and the Tang dynasty of China? Which one is more interesting? Are you familiar with those? We are going to spend a lot of time in Asia. I don't know why Asia is so interesting. Maybe because somehow through the Euro-colonialist era, the Asian part of the world wasn't touched. Maybe that's why it's so interesting. Han Dynasty, all those, bro. Which one? Oh, you said, I presume you're actually interested in the Han Dynasty. So, but there's also Tang, Qing, what else? Is it Qing Dynasty? So when we go to China, maybe we need to save the best for last. Maybe we should do that the last. And if you are saying the Majapahit Empire is more interesting, I think we need to do them before we go to these Tang, Han, Qing dynasties. Because when you go to China, I think we'll look from the first dynasty we can ever find all the way down to the government that they have today. So it's going to be very, very interesting. But if the Majapahit is very, very interesting, we are going to do the Sriwijaya and go away a little bit. When we come back, we go straight to the Majapahit Empire, because I want to save the best for the last. So, or maybe to keep the things interesting, no, we just go to Japan. To get things interesting, we'd go to Japan. But thank you, Kamda. I really gonna love this. And also, I will bookmark the Majapahit right now. The Majapahit Empire, I will bookmark that too. Yeah, you're right, bro. Asia is a lot. And I'm glad that there's a part of the earth that wasn't touched through the Europe conquest and colonialism that happened, and slave trade and everything that happened. So I'm glad that Asia actually is still preserved. And I think that's the same thing in Africa, what you find in Ethiopia. I'm not sure if it's because Ethiopia is closer to Asia. I don't know, but there's something about the East and not being touched by everything that happened. Because I was crying literally about the Americans in the North and also in the South, what happened to them. Because what I've read there is exactly what happened in Africa for the most part. But my heart glad every time I go to the East, because I don't find the same thing. It's pure, it's there, it's beautiful, it has a story, it has a culture, it's traceable, and there are people who are actually living that till today. So that's what I love about the East, Asia to be precise. Okay, back to the URDU Empire. So according to the Navatirul Alphas by Khan I Arzu and the Zeban Urdu Shahi, language of the imperial camp had attained special importance in the times of Alamgir by the end of the reign of the Aurangzeb in the 17th century. Will we even talk about folk? Yo, Gamda, you are dropping a lot of bombs, bro. I didn't know you were so much into history, bro. Because we always joke around about things. But today, bro, you're surprising me a lot. I have no idea what is VOC is. The Vogue, I have no idea what that is. Volatile organic compounds, chemical that easily evaporate and are found in paints, cleaners, and I don't think that's what you meant. It's a huge company. Probably it is. Probably it is. Okay, let me read again. Vogue mostly commonly refers to a volatile organic compounds, chemical that easily evaporate and are found in the paints, cleaners, and many products contributing in the air pollution and health issues, but it can also stand as a historic Dutch East India Company, Verenigd, who own this Czech company, or local entities like Voice of Cape, blah, 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 blah. I hope you are actually speaking about the same company. In the health and environment, volatile organic compounds is related to the Dutch East India Company, carbon-based chemical that turns into gas at a room temperature, often strong smell, sources, paints, blah, 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 blah. It is we have a lot to do, bro. We have a lot to talk about. I'm loving this. The VOC and the world that slaves lived in slavery in South Africa. There's something that South Africans wrote about the VOC. Now I'm starting to regret the decision that I made in 2004 when I chose mathematics and physical sciences. Bro, history is very interesting. History is very, very interesting. So according to Department of Sport, Art and Culture in South Africa, the VOC and the world that slaves lived in, a European colonial expansion introduced the system of Western slavery to the Cape. In many places, slavery went hand in hand with colonialism. The Cape was colonized by the Dutch East India Company, better known as the VOC, short for Verenigd Ontstingende Company. In the mid-17th century, the VOC was a Dutch commercial company with a sole purpose of establishing settlement or colonies to increase profit. All the rules and the law at the Cape and also decisions taken by the government were aimed at the increasing of profit for the VOC. The welfare of the people who lived in Cape Town was less important, therefore having a cheap and subservient labor force fitted into the plans of the VOC. You know what I'm feeling right now as I'm reading this, Gamda? I'm feeling the same thing that I felt when I was reading about the Novak people, the Pueblos in North America. It was the same feeling I've had while I was reading about the Incas peoples from South America. about the European actually doing what they did to those people, ending those kingdoms, reducing those people into nothingness, and actually overtaking their land. So as I'm reading about the VOC, I'm getting the same feeling. It's a dreadful feeling, probably. I'm not sure if my English is correct, but it's a feeling that I cannot explain. But because we will actually go to East Asia on the islands tomorrow, we'd go back to Europe, we'd go to the heart where it all began. Speak about that Eastern Company, the VOCs, the British, the army, and everything that happens across the world. Their network, what actually inspired them to do what they do, and how they moved from Europe to America, because they are continuing the legacy with the likes of Donald Trump and the rest, knowing that the likes of George Washington came from Europe and actually overtook the Northern America or the United States of America. But you could see that the legacy is still there with the President of the United States, Donald Trump. You could see that it is same tactics that was applied by the same people from the British Empire back in the days. So probably that's what we're going to look at when we go back to Europe, and we'll go there and also check synonymously on the following day the United States of America, how it was found and how it has progressed over the years. And because I think they are using the same tactics that these people were using. The VOC is the first company to have a stock, and they looted the world, all over the world, using this Dutch East India Company. Yeah, you can do geopolitics content, I think. Yeah, you're correct. I think you paraphrase it correct. Probably your vocab is much richer than mine, bro. Much richer than mine. But thank you for bringing this up. Actually, you are a historian. You are probably not a historian, but maybe you are. I'm looking for a term about Steve Biko. Black conscious movement, something. I'm looking for something along those lines. Yeah, my content just missing around anyway. But thank you, bro. I enjoyed your company. You actually bring a lot of interesting things here. And you are opening my eyes so much. Now, how long have you been here? 48 minutes, okay. We are going to check the phonology, the vocabulary of the URDU language, because I think everything that is spoken about as far as the URDU people is concerned is being repeated over and over again. So we'll check the phonology, the vocabulary, and also how to greet the formalities in the same language. Kamda, you should actually have a podcast, bro. Speaker, I think you have a lot of things that you know that you can actually share with the people. Now, the vocab. Said Ahmed Delavi, in an 19th century lexicographer who compiled the Ferrang Asifia Urdu dictionary, estimated about that 75% of Urdu words have their etymology roots in Sanskrit and Prakrit, and approximately 90% of Urdu verbs have their roots in the Sanskrit and Prakrit. Urdu has borrowed words from Persian and to a lesser extent Arabic through Persian. To the extent about 25%, 30% Urdu vocabulary. A table illustrated by the linguistic Afros Touch, University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, likewise illustrates the number of Persian loanwords to a native Sanskrit derived from the word literally Urdu as a comprising or to 1.4 ratio. Good idea. I think it's a good idea, bro. I think if you can actually have a podcast and speak about these things, I think you'd make a killing, bro. You have so much knowledge, and you are very, very interesting. Just by looking at your chat here, you are very, very interesting. So, as far as the vocabulary is concerned, This is a repetition of everything that I've already touched as far as the Urdu language is concerned, because it has to do with the Persians, which are Iranians or Arabics origin. So if a word of a Persian or Arabic origin level in speech is considered to be more formal or grander. Similarly, if a Persian or Arabic grammar contract such as izafat are used in Urdu, the level of speech is also considered more formal. If a word is inherited from Sanskrit, the level of speech is considered more colloquial and personal. So it's actually a make of the Sanskrit, Persians, Arabic, and also, what am I missing out here? Sanskrit, Persians, and Arabic. I think those are the makes of the Urdu language. Now, Urdu is written right to left, like an extension of the Persian alphabet, which is itself in an extension of the Arabic alphabet. Urdu is associated with the Nasta style of Persian calligraphy, whereas Arabic is generally written in the Nak or Ruka styles because of its thousand and ligatures. Nastaliq is notoriously difficult to typeset, so Urdu newspapers were handwritten by masters of calligraphy known as Khatib or Kush Navis until the late 1980s. One hand-written Urdu newspaper, the Musalman, is still published daily in Chennai. In Page, a widely used desktop publishing tool of Urdu, has over 200,000 or 20,000 ligatures in the NASCAR e-computer fonts. Okay, let's check how to speak or how to formalities basically in Urdu. How to greet in Urdu. Now you know we are heading towards the end when we actually start to try and speak the language. So this is for the cultures, for the languages, for the days. Today is day 5. We are doing the Urdu from Pakistan, which is the Persian, Arabic, Sanskrit language combined together to form the language Urdu. Now, to greet in Urdu, the most common versatile phrase is Assalamu alaikum, which is the same thing that you find with the Arabic, which means peace be upon you, and appropriate response being the wa alaikum assalam, meaning and peace be upon you too. You can also simpler greetings like salam or adab. For specific times, you said subha pakai. I hope I'm reading that correct. Sab bakar for good morning, or shab bakair for good night. Now, assalamu alaikum, the universal greeting suitable for all situations, formal and informal, which the response is wa alaikum assalam. A shorter or more casual version of the above is salam, adab, respectful gesture, and phrase often used by men involving lifting the hand to the forehead. Adab. I hope I will not forget that, because tomorrow I will need to include it. Pronto buongiorno. Adab. Assalamu alaikum. Sanibonani. Good morning. Dumelang. So on and so forth. We are at least 12 languages now. Some are not coming right up into my head because I've forgotten the Inkasa, I've forgotten the Nahoj. I only remember the Arabic and Italian. I won't forget the Adab also. So time specific good morning is sab bakar. Good night sab shab, not sab shab bakar. The basic following phrase is like up kaise hain, How are you? Huh? Up, kaise hain? Up, kaise hain? Up, kaise hain? I'm trying to find the difference. How are you to female? How are you to male? It's written the same. Up, kaise hain to women, kap, kaisi hain to female. So kaise is for male, kaisi is for female. Up kaise hain, up kaisi hain. I think this is dope. I need to actually memorize this because there's a lot of people who probably know this language in South Africa because there are a lot of Pakistani O's in South Africa. So if I would rock up to one of the Pakistani shop and said, Up kaise hain, and see what they're going to react, how they going to react. Sorry, man, but I think you are not good at this. Hey, I'm trying, bro. I'm trying. I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing it correct. So Abkaise Hain, Abkaisi Hain. So then I'm fine. Thank you. You say Main Tek Hun, Shukriya or Ab. Yo, that's a lot of information. I'm fine. Thank you. And you? Main Tek Hun, Sukiya Ab, Sukiya or Ab. Nice to meet you. Ab Semil Kerkushi Hui. No, guys. I think I need to be from the Middle East actually comprehend all this. Goodbye. May God protect you. Kuda Hafiz. Kuda Hafiz. Kuda Hafiz, that's the only thing I'm taking here. But the rest, Ab Kaisi Hain, I'll forget that. But Kuda Hafiz, I'll remember that. Abuda, was it Abuda? Adab. Adam, Adab. I remember it by the Bible. Adam, Adab. After that, Kuda Hafiz. That's it. Because Ab Kaise Hain. How do Pakistan people speak? Can I mimic that? There's this one beautiful lady here. I think I'll listen to her and see.
And the correct response after someone says Assalamu alaikum is Wa alaikum assalam. So it's kind of similar but with a W. The response starts with a W. Wa alaikum assalam. So if you meet someone, you say Assalamu alaikum and they'll say it back Wa alaikum assalam. Or if someone says to you Assalamu alaikum, you can say Wa alaikum assalam back to them. So that's number one. And it's easy to remember and you can use it for any occasion. Let's go over the next one. If you want to know their name. So the English sentence obviously is, what is your name? So the Urdu is, Aapka kya naam hai? Aapka kya naam hai? Aapka kya naam hai? Aapka
There's something in the background here that I need to actually.
Naam translates to name, and it's quite easy to remember because naam and name just you're just pronouncing the vowel differently. And aap in Urdu means you, so we respectfully call someone aap. So aapka kya naam hai? What is your name? Let's go to the next one. The next one is if you want to ask them if they can speak in English or they can communicate to you in English. So
Bro, just told me you are not good at this.
Do you speak English?
I like his honesty.
For Urdu, we will say, क्या आप English बोलते हैं? क्या आप English बोलते हैं? क्या आप English बोलते हैं? क्या equates to do you, or it's a question. आप
Okay, I'm embarrassing myself here. Urdu is so I don't know how to put it, but it will take me a minute to actually grasp the pronunciation of these words, let alone reading the language, because they read from, maybe that was another problem, because them niggas read from right to left, and I read from left to right. Maybe that was the first problem, but it will take me a minute to actually grasp the language. I'm listening to her. Let's hold it here. Let's hold it here for now. Tomorrow we are doing the Srijaya Kingdom. Tomorrow. So thank you everybody for tuning in. My name is Sipolo of Sports Ang on the Black Eye Italian himself. From me, I am saying a pronto. Piacere. That is to say goodbye. Or should I say ciao? Because that's the only thing I remember. The Italian. The other languages I don't remember. You write, Kamda. Tomorrow at the forgotten. I only remember at Adaba. That I will not forget. Adaba or Assalamu alaikum. Because that's Arabic and also URDU. Probably I'll just stick with that. But the rest I'd forgotten already. This is the hardest language I've ever come across so far. It's the 5th language, and I think it's the hardest. So, a pronto, piacere. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to smash that up to check out our other content. Thank you so much. My name is Simon of Sports. If you're an Uncle the Black Eye Italian himself. Mina, ngithini na baba yini nisale kahle, which is buonanotte. Do you understand what I'm saying? I say buonanotte, I'm saying good night. Peace be upon you.